Today is the Feast of the Transfiguration. Just prior to his transfiguration, Jesus had told his disciples he must go to Jerusalem and suffer greatly from the elders, the chief priests, and the scribes, and be killed, and on the third day be raised up. When Peter tried to stop Jesus going to Jerusalem, Jesus told Peter, "Get behind me, Satan." He told his disciples that whoever wished to follow him would have to take up his cross. Those who wish to persevere their lives in times of persecution would lose eternal life. It will seem only fair to give the disciples something to encourage them to persevere when he is arrested and killed, when they have to face their own persecution. Jesus' transfiguration was an opportunity to show his disciples a taste of the resurrection and a display of his glory. God the Father also took the opportunity to confirm the identity of his beloved Son. At the Transfiguration, Moses and Elijah appeared and were alongside Jesus. The Jewish scriptures do not call it the Old Testament. They call it the Law and the Prophets. Moses represents the law. Elijah represents the prophets. The symbolism is that Jesus is the fulfillment of the promise of the law and the prophets, or we will say the Old Testament. God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, so that all who believe in him might not perish, but have eternal life. The Israelites were led by God while they wandered in the desert. The presence was a cloud by day and a column of fire by night. The cloud was called the Shekinah, the glory of God. The voice of the cloud in today's gospel is that of Yahweh, God the Father. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. This hope ties Jesus to the suffering servant of Isaiah, who is identified in the beginning of Isaiah chapter 42. My servant whom I uphold, my chosen one, in whom I am well pleased. Don't forget the voice of the cloud that said, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." And there we have Isaiah speaking of my servant whom I uphold, my chosen one, in whom I am well pleased. Understand the suffering servant, which starts in Isaiah chapter 42. We have to read chapter 53, which reads plans of predicting 400 years before Jesus, his passion and death. Read chapter 53 if you're able to Isaiah. You'll see how it imitates the passion and death of Christ. The important part of the message is listen to him. Implied in the command to listen to Jesus is the command to obey him. Are we prepared to listen to Jesus and obey his teachings? Can we trust God like Abraham trusted God and left his zone of comfort, especially when he was such a wealthy and comfortable man. We too are challenged to leave our comfort zones when we're asked to fulfill Jesus' promises and teachings. Some of these teachings, especially, may seem illogical or unreasonable. For example, can I forgive somebody who has hurt me deeply? Can I turn the other cheek and do not retaliate? Can I love my enemies? Can I give up something I need so that others who have less than me will not go without? In times of struggle and trials, we need to ask God to take us up a mountain in our dreams, that we may see the beauty and the joy that awaits us in the future, that we may be able to persevere in our